marketing yourselves. You know, I know mainstream media, you know, they're terrible. They're lazy. They're incredibly lazy. But you guys really need to make it easy for them and tell you good news stories. You know, everyone gets together once a year. Have a press conference, make it really easy for them, make it snappy, make it visual. You know, you can present them with 3 or 4 of your best news stories for the year in a 15-minute package, and you know, I can guarantee you'll get plenty of media coverage. Like, you know, put up Rob, you know, Lucky Bastard Murray, and show them how much money Rob's made, you know, from Flight Control, or show them how beautiful the Scary Girl is, or you know, tell them how big the industry's growing this year. But yeah, please market yourselves. Just make it quick and make it exciting, and make it easy for them and all work.
Sure, that's everything. That was awesome, Jason. Thanks very much. I'd like next to introduce a man who's really made a living out of hating stuff, and really he's about the best in the business at it. So that's Ben Crosshaw, better known to use Yahtzee. He was born and raised in England. Moved to Brisbane in 2003, where he still lives. He's been writing, animating and voicing the Escapist weekly video review series Zero Punctuation for over 2 years now. And his fast-talking style of game criticism has earned him many fans and gamers and developers alike. He's also working on a television project called Game Damage with Yug and Matt from Australian Gamer, as well as a gaming-themed novel, Mod World, to be published in 2010 by Dark Horse Books. So I'd like to welcome Yahtzee, and please let us have it.
Right, stuff I hate. What, all of them? Or just today's? I asked myself where to go with this sort of thing, so I'm just going to stick to the newest things that I hate. The things I hate about the cutting edge of gaming. And what I'm really sick of is the big hard-on hardware developers have for motion controls right now. Because every single person I know who owns a Wii has the Wii gathering dust at the bottom of the TV while they all play Modern Warfare or something. Because Miyamoto said it himself, Shigeru Miyamoto last E3, he said, motion controls are never going to be immersive. And I was like, dude, where were you when the Wii was being designed? He intended it as a dig at Project Natal of the creepy little boy simulator. That's a whole discussion in itself. And, he was saying that motion controls are unimmersive if you don't have a controller in your hand. And, which is fair enough, that's unimmersive. But motion controls are always going to be unimmersive because there's no physical feedback. You could swing a sword, but from your point of view, you're swinging through MTA. You're not clanging into armor or smashing into flesh and bone. And the fact of the matter is, people don't want to do that to unwind when they play games. The Wii motion stuff, yeah, it's good to have at a party when everyone wants to act like a complete twat in front of all their friends in order to lighten the mood and encourage more drinking. But most people play games because they would get home after a long day and no one would unwind. And no one unwinds by waving their arms around like a leper on a teacup ride. Because that's not fun. So the Wii controller, I think, was a bad idea from the start. But people, they're still going, they're still determined to get this to work, like Project Natal as well. The iToy 2.0, aka not the iToy. And yeah, PlayStation iPad as well, that's another fucking creepy little thing. It's those eyes. But, because this is the whole reason for virtual reality, of course, because you could see the virtual world, you could hear the virtual world, but all your other senses were telling you you were in somebody's living room wearing a stupid hat. So that's one of the things about modern games that I can't stand. I think another thing about games, especially now that games are really mainstream and there's a lot of money in them, that we've lost games that really specialise. We've lost games that concentrate on doing one or two things really, really well. Because there's so much technology, there are so many people working on a game, there's so many people who want to suggest things, and there's so many committees and no one really driving the design of the game, that they're willing to try and work everything in. And the end result is a lot of games that try to do an awful lot of things, and none of them are particularly engaging. Something like Wolfenstein most recently. Sandbox elements for absolutely no reason. They just meant you had to blunder around a little town between every mission, shooting more and more respawn Nazis. But as recently as 2004, a game like Painkiller, which was one of my favourites, just concentrated on being a shooter, a mindless shooter, where you shoot tons of enemies with standard sort of guns. And they just took that basic model and they elevated it into something great. Because once they realized they weren't going to try to do anything else, they made really great looking environments, they made really fun and interesting weapons like stakes that can nail people to the fucking wall, and stakes that can nail people to the fucking wall and make all their limbs fly off at the same time. And just really good looking levels, really good looking polish, really great flow, really good pacing. And it's just elevating a simple concept. So that's what I miss about games from about 10 years ago. I feel my life has been two phases of gaming. The phase where everything was good, and the phase where everything was shit. And we're in the shit one. Yeah, I'm out for this. You better take over.
Okay, thank you very much. So one thing that's sort of not to hate at the moment about the games industry is that we actually do have a television show on the ABC that is actually entertaining and incredible, and people actually seem to watch, which is marvelous. I hadn't thought that would happen for a good long while. It's been a really pleasant surprise that that's come along and really become something to engage industry to in this country. So please welcome Stephen O'Donnell and Stephanie Bendixsen, better known to you probably as better known to you as Bajo and Hex. So Stephen Bajo O'Donnell grew up on a small farm in the country-ish town of Toowoomba in Queensland.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's continue.
You didn't realize where this happened, right?
I forgot.
He was an awkward child, he tells me, and cut off from the rest of the world, and he spent most of his time looking after animals that hated him. This isolation also bred his love of gaming, and ever since it remained a part of his life and has cost him numerous computer chairs, finger skin, and girlfriends. In 2006, the ABC show Good Game needed a new host and put out an open call into its community, and Bajo applied and got the gig. It's been hosting, reviewing, and producing on the show for 3 years now. Stephanie grew up in a family with a rather strict no video games policy, which led her to late-night secret mud sessions, regular escapes to friends' house consoles, until eventually she built her own PC. Since then, she's been exploring all aspects of gaming on both console and PC, in between studying acting and slogging her way through some rather less than quality student theatre productions. After bumping into the Good Game crew at Supernova earlier this year and discovering that a position had opened up on the show, Stephanie began submitting reviews and screen testing for the role. She's now struggling to pry consoles out of her own hands. So please join me in welcoming Bajo and Hex.
Hello, we hate a lot of things. I'm still too close. How's that? Is that good? We had a lot of little things, really. Yeah.
I think, there's obviously the very serious issues that are happening with gaming in Australia at the moment, but we thought we'd tackle a lot of the things that we do tackle on the show, that when we reviewing games, we come across certain things that drive us up.
Yeah, for me it's control. The biggest one of the last couple of years has been when there's just one thing stopping a game from being so good, and it's so easily fixed. Something with as simple as a control scheme that you can't change, that just doesn't work. And I always think of Too Human, which is a game I really enjoyed, and I really enjoyed all the lore behind it and all the characters and all the ideas, but I just didn't like fighting with two sticks. I didn't like that. I wanted to do a bit of mashing and a bit of combos, and it frustrates me when there's something glaring, and there are better examples than that, but it frustrates me when there's something really, really glaring and obvious in a game that could easily be changed and just makes it not fun.
I think one of the cool things about working on the show is that when we sort of discuss a game after we sort of played it and we've sort of discussed in the review and that sort of stuff, one thing that I hate, you might actually find quite cool. And then there's also a sort of a separate joy that comes from unifying over combined hatred for something. But I think when I'm playing a game and I sort of am taking notes for the review, there tend to be a few things that pop up kind of time and time again that you'd think that people would sort of start to catch on to unified hatred towards. I think when I play a game, I really love story. Story is really important to me, but if